Cliff, it's good to see you, man.
Great to be here. Great.
And I'm surprised you didn't deck me on the way in, man, because you used to deck me all the time in practice. People used to say, Drew, what's the hardest hit you ever had?
I got over that.
You got over it? I'm still trying to get over it. It was a Thursday practice. We're getting ready to play the Washington Redskins. I come over the middle, giving you the defense a picture, and you just laid me out, and I'm laying on the turf, wallowing in pain.
Oh, no.
And what Coach Landry said? Move the drill up. We got work to do. But anyway, that was one of the hardest hits I ever had. And Cliff, you were a great teammate, and thanks for being with us
Hey,
today.
it's so great to be here, Drew. You're like a brother or a son to me.
Right on.
We've talked about that for a long time and many years, and I'm so thankful to be here and have such a great teammate like you. You're such a winner. I knew it from day one. You're a free agent together, right?
Right on, right on.
Right.
Well, you
it
know
takes
what
a
helped me make me a winner was going against you guys every day in practice.
Yeah.
You, Charlie Waters, Mel Renfro, Cornell Green, and all that. Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you had to be a good football player coming out that kind of situation, and I'm fortunate that I was a part of that. But Cliff, you come from Ouachita Baptist. Where is that?
That is in in Arkadelphia, Arkansas.
Right on. And you got a stadium named after you there, Cliff Harris Stadium. And the reason I know it is my grandson plays for Southeastern.
Oh.
They played up there, and I'm streaming the game online. And they're all every other word. Cliff Harris Stadium. He made a tackle in Cliff Harris Stadium.
Yeah.
He scored a touchdown in Cliff Harris Stadium. It was pretty cool, man. That's got to be a cool deal for you.
That's really unbelievable. Ouachita was undefeated in Cliff Harris Stadium this year.
Right on. Well, you know they beat us, right? They beat my grandson too.
And they were in the D2 playoffs and were beaten by a team that Lindenwood, where I have two Cliff Harris Award winners from. So
yeah, you're the defensive back in Division II NAIA is named after the great Cliff Harris. It's the Cliff Harris Award. How about that? That's pretty cool too, huh?
That's another thing. So
I bet they didn't have to twist your arm to get your name on that deal. Huh?
No, that was good.
You deserved that for sure.
There are a lot of, Drew, there's a lot of players that deserve recognition in small colleges, and that's what this thing is all about.
Absolutely, and there's some good players like yourself that come out of there. And even back then, Tulsa was pretty much a small college. It was. They weren't playing too much Division I football then. But anyway, you came into the Dallas Cowboys as an undrafted free agent from Ouachita. Were you expecting to get drafted?
That's kind of a tricky question. Okay. Gil Brandt told me I was going to be drafted.
Oh, he told me that too. No wonder he's in the Hall of Fame.
No question. No, but so I didn't know any better. I didn't realize, because doing this Cliff Harris Award and having 5,000 players every year, that not many of them even have a chance to have a shot at pro football, much less be drafted. I was told I'd be was going to be drafted, but I ended up as a free agent, and I couldn't have chosen a better route.
Did you have other offers from other teams that you could have joined, or was it just the Cowboys?
New Orleans had talked to me,
and you good choice.
It was a good choice.
Especially
I think I could have helped Archie Manning.
You probably could have got the ball back for him.
Got the ball back for him.
Yeah. So anyway, you come to the Cowboys, and did you start your rookie year? You got Cornell Green. You got all these other great players there. How did you fit into all that?
Oh, my gosh, it's just unbelievable circumstances. I was a starter. I was the only rookie starter on the whole team. And
that was a big deal for Coach Landry.
Big deal. Yeah. And I had 2 good games. I was the MVP on defense of 2 of the first 5 games.
Wow, okay.
And then right in the middle of the season, that was at a time Vietnam was hot. Mm-hmm. And I was called to basic training and had to go to Fort Polk, Louisiana. And then I would fly back on weekends and play.
What?
Yeah.
You were doing service time and football time
at
the same time?
Yeah, I was platoon leader during the week, and a football player on the weekends.
So did Coach Landry and them send you the game plan so you can study that before you got back?
I was a rookie, so so Charlie Waters took my spot while I was there. I came back and played on weekends, but I played more on nickel and punt returns and kickoff returns, and then the next year I got my spot back from Charlie.
Well, you're doing double time like that, so we appreciate your service.
Yeah,
dude,
I was there. That's right.
Right on.
That's right. That's why I did that. So thank you.
So you played in 5 Super Bowls, man. What was it like? You played in the first Super Bowl the Cowboys won. What was it like? What was that experience? Because we finally got over the hump to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know that the first year that I was in that starting lineup, Bob Lilly was in the huddle and he said, "Hey, rookie," he didn't know my name. "We're going to," and I was in the defensive huddle at the Cotton Bowl. He said, "We're going to the Super Bowl this year, and I don't want you to do anything to, let's just say, mess it up."
Okay, put it nicely.
And so that team was so focused on going to the Super Bowl and had great leadership so we ended up going that year and then going the next year. We lost. Then we went back and beat Miami the next year.
Right.
And then we went and played Pittsburgh, lost to them. Then we beat the Broncos. Then we lost it to Pittsburgh the last year.
13.
And if I'd played one more year, I know that we're going to win it after that.
We wish you had stayed, man. We wish you had stayed another year because we could have used you, that's for sure. But anyway, in 2004, you had such a great, outstanding career with the Cowboys. They finally inducted you into the Dallas Cowboy Ring of Honor. What did that mean to you?
Oh, it was just an incredible experience for me. The legends that are up there that I had a chance to be a part of, I know where you should be up there, right next to me up there.
Well, we finally made it.
Finally, that's an awesome deal, man, for you. So congratulations, Drew.
Thank you.
And you know what I mean about that feeling that you get, and then to think about, all the legends that are there, and to think about where you and I came from in our free agency thing. And I don't know, I haven't looked at it, but I don't know how many free agents there were in that Ring of Honor, but other than you and me.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we're the only 2.
Yeah.
Is Don Perkins a draft choice?
I think Perkins
he was, so we're the only 2. I'm just trying to follow your lead. You get in the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame, I'm going to follow you right up on in.
I hope we both do it.
All right.
So I remember you coming out early to practice. You were one cocky guy, and I knew right from the beginning that you were going to make it. I knew it.
So shy and introverted.
I was playing tough against you early in that time, and I knew you were taking it, and so I knew that you were going to do. I mean, I said, "Hey, if this young guy like this is this cocky," I didn't know your name, and I was messing with you, that I said, "He's got a great chance to make this team, and not only make this team, be a great part of it," that you were.
Wow. I wish I had known that then, because I sweated all the way through that training in hopes of making the Cowboy team. But I did make it, and we had just tremendous teammates that we played with.
We really did.
And then the coaching that we had, the leadership. I hear these guys talking about the game plan and all that. Whatever game plan you get, the coaches prepare for you. It's up to the players to go out there and execute that game plan, isn't it?
But without any question, and it's not the game plan too. It's the one of the things I've been thinking about your show on this thing is that Coach Landry. It's a different era. Coach Landry had a chance to put people, coaches, and players around him that even though he was a quiet guy, he knew how to motivate us. He knew how to motivate us and get the very best out of us. And it may be a more challenging. I mean, we don't know what goes on in that locker room today. There's all kind of reports and talking about it. But it's a different world out there today. And I'd like to, but Landry knew and how to motivate and direct us. So it was a great. And it fit well during that era to get us to those Super Bowls.
Yeah, it certainly did. And you talk about the era we played, and you think about the game now.
Yeah.
I don't think Cliff Harris could play in the game now because they throwing you out, for those headshots you'd be putting on people. And the clotheslines and everything else.
You can't even knock anybody out anymore.
I know.
What the heck?
No more fun, right?
No more fun,
But I know you wanted, when Lynn Swan coming over there, you want to pop him real good.
I was trying to get him.
Now you can't get him, man. You got to let him roll through there. So the game's a little different. You see it different, right?
So different. So I mean, the guys that have, I mean, you just watch you, like you and I, Drew, know, covering you man-to-man in practice and whenever, covering man-to-man is really hard on these defensive backs. And to have them have big receivers that are pushing them and battling back and forth, we didn't have that.
Right.
We didn't have that as much. We had that 5-yard after bump rule.
After 79.
And so to see these guys, the officials, to me, have such a tough job in making sure. I mean, I wouldn't know what to call half the time up there.
Right.
But so it's just a really a battle between those guys that the game has changed so much. I think they need to get that aspect of it back under control.
Amen.
Where they have 5 yards they can bump and then they can't touch each other.
Right,
they can't battle, because if you let them battle, those guys will maximize the rules. They'll push the limits and try to push as much as you can without getting a penalty.
Yeah, and with all the rule changes, I think it kind of hurts the game. It definitely slows down the game, and what it does is takes the human element out of the game. That's what made the NFL what it is today, is that human element in the game, and you live with calls, you died with calls, and that was just part of the game.
Yeah, I just can't understand. I think that the NFL, I mean, because guys and people and everything else, they push the limit of laws, and everything. And just like in that battle between the cornerback and the wide receiver, it is a battle that goes on, and the officials, they're in a tough position to make those calls right then. And you can't say, well, it favors one side or the other. It's just a real difficult thing. I'd like to see back to where it's 5 yards, and then you can't touch them. If you touch them, but they've got big receivers and fast receivers now.
Well, the rule changes, I think, slowed the game down and all that
without
kind
any
of
question.
stuff, man. But it's still a good game. It's still exciting. Do you watch the Cowboys?
I watch the Cowboys. Oh gosh, I'm a big Dak supporter. I was disappointed, in the game last week. I think that he has a hurt thumb, is what you did. You don't know, and the only people that know about the injuries are the guys inside the room, really. Inside the training room, the training facility, and Dak. I think he's a winner, and I think. There are so many odd circumstances going on now with Jason Garrett and things going on, and you know what that means, Drew, when you got an insecurity about a coach that possibly is leaving, what that does to the confidence of the team.
Absolutely.
And then you get Dak, and he's just a little hurt and throwing the passes off a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he's a real winner and could win. I think he can. I still think he can win.
I do too. Roger Staubach never threw me a bad pass. Danny White never threw me a bad. If they were thrown to me, it was a good pass. All right? Hey, a bad passer when you're going to Tony Hill or Butch or somebody. Somebody. Drew was passes, bro. You're throwing to me, because I'm gonna make sure I'm going to catch that.
Drew was so good about catching a pass across the middle, because he'd catch the pass, then dodge those guys, those linebackers coming at you one way or the other. It was so good.
I had a philosophy: live to play
another day.
Well,
a clean
Cliff,
helmet.
You played 10 seasons in the NFL, and you retired unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Coach Landry was a surprise with the retirement. He was so surprised he tried to talk you into playing another season.
Yeah.
What led to your retirement after 10 seasons in the NFL?
I had a bad neck. And when I sometimes was hit, I would be momentarily, I was not say paralyzed on the field, I was momentarily couldn't move. And I know that we were playing the Rams in LA Coliseum, and Pat Hayden was the quarterback, not a very big guy, and he cut back on me unexpectedly because I was going to blast him. And I thought he was going to run out of bounds, and I was going to blast him, but he cut back on me. And when I hit the ground, I laid there and couldn't move.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a time I need to think about. And
I had a quarterback that hit you, man. It might be time to give it up.
Exactly.
Right?
So I was in the energy business in the off season. I had a great opportunity with that. So, and I've stayed there all these years, and it's worked out well.
Well, how did you get in that business? Did you study that in school, and was that there while you were playing? That you end up doing it after you played?
I was working in the off season with.
We all worked, right?
Working in the off season at a company called U.S. Companies, Max Williams Company,
Right.
and it was a great opportunity for me. And they were an exploration company, and I began working in it in the off season, and it just migrated into a great opportunity. I ended up starting my own business right at the worst possible time, and the oil business crashed in 1985 and '86.
Right.
But I battled through it, and it's been good to me. I'm with Energy Transfer and Kelsey Warren these days, and
That's the name of your company now?
Energy Transfer is the name of his company, not
His
mine.
company, okay.
So I'm a part of it, and we ended up starting a company together and selling the company. It's done real well.
Well, I'm not surprised you're in the energy business since you brought so much energy to the game and out there on the football field, every practice, every game.
It was,
and we enjoyed our time playing, didn't we?
We really did. I mean, it was
winning helped, though.
Winning helped, and I think that if you throw in the complication of being paid millions of dollars, makes life complicated.
Yes, it does.
I'd like to have been able to have that opportunity
Yeah,
to see how complicated it could make me.
We didn't know that, did we?
We did.
What was your first salary coming in as an undrafted free agent?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, it had to be more than me.
What was yours?
Mine was $14,500.
Well, I'll just tell you this. You beat me.
I beat you? That Gil Brand, he got you too?
Yeah, well, you were after me.
Oh, my goodness.
You were after me.
Yeah.
Salaries had gone up.
You were first. You could have set a precedent for me,
I
but
could
you
have.
failed to do that. But anyway, what do you think about these Cowboys? They're still in first place. They're 6-7. They play the Rams today.
Yeah.
Do you think we can still make the playoffs? And once we get there, do you think we can do something?
Well, I'm an optimist, and I believe that, hopefully that some of that we were seeing with Dak and his passing was because of his hurt thumb, and he can get that down and get it honed in where he can pass well, and I think that we can beat the Rams.
Yes.
And I think that if we can beat the Rams and kind of change the momentum, change the thinking, that we'll have a shot. I'm hoping in the playoffs. I'd like to see Zeke explode one game. It's going to take a combination of, what I mean on Drew, because being an offensive guy, you've got to hit some passes and then to open up the running game. But I think there's a great, I think there's an opportunity. Wouldn't it be cool if they could turn this around, and the Cowboys could turn this around and all of a sudden get everybody quiet. I don't think there's many people, I don't know, I guess the people here today are Cowboy fans, but that are going to believe that can happen.
Yeah, we're a little concerned. There's no question about that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think we can do that. When we played for Coach Landry, this time of year was very important, the stretch drive of the season.
Without any question.
Not worrying about peaking, because we're rolling at that point. We wanted to peak as we got into the playoffs and perform once we got there, and we did.
Oh, without any question. And one of the things that teams play harder against the Cowboys than they do any other team. And one of the teams that they play hard against. They play so hard against us, and I don't know that we're understanding that or reaching that competitive level that to go out and expect that, expect that every time. Because at the end of the year, the guys that are off, they are not playing as good, and they're done. You can beat them.
Ready to go.
But now, it's because now you've got playoffs ahead. This is going to be a peak level of intensity, and that's what we did I did for 10 years, because we were in the playoffs 9 out of 10 years.
There you go.
And 5 Super Bowls. So, you've just got to understand the players, the Dallas Cowboy players have to understand you got to step it up a level.
Right.
Because you got the league's most expensive running back, doesn't mean that he's going to be without you getting out there and stepping up and busting it.
That's right. Well, you know the recipe for success out there on the football field. And hopefully these guys will watch this show and listen to what the great Cliff Harris is saying. But before we let you go, we got to get an insight on how you got the nickname Crash. It's one of the greatest nicknames in NFL history, right? Crash Harris. I mean, how did that all come about?
Well, it's kind of migrated after I retired to Captain Crash, which I don't like.
Oh, okay, Captain Crash.
It's not that. I don't. Okay. I'd rather just be Crash, you know.
Yeah.
Dave Edwards was the guy that gave nicknames to players on the team. And you know, he gave Rayfield Cat, Big Cat, and he gave Charlie Waters Bucket.
Bucket, huh?
Bucket Waters.
Oh, okay. There you go. Now you know. Now you know.
And then Killer for Leroy and things like that. And he called me Crash. So it kind of I don't know why he called it Crash.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, right. We know why. Ask those receivers coming across the middle. Yeah. They certainly know why as well.
They deserved it.
Right on. They certainly did. If they gonna go in there, they need to pay the price, right?
That's what I would tell them. Hey, just don't come in my area today.
Right, you know? Right. And you know, we say again before I let you go, we see a lot of missed tackles out there.
Yeah.
Now, what is that all about? Is that just want to, or technique, or what?
Gosh, it's just unbelievable. I agree with you, Drew. I think that is a combination of want to. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's technique. I just think it's, you know, they need to go in there and make sure that they secure that tackle. That's the first thing on their mind instead of, but I think that there's so much thinking going on maybe. I don't know. You and I know that the things that go on inside that locker room, only the guys in the locker room know what it is.
Right.
They're going to know how much thinking, what the talk is in the locker room and everything. You've got to, you know, during game day, you got to shut it all down, reach a peak level, get after it, get your intensity up, and focus and make sure that you get every one of those tackles. If it's a tackle, it's you that's going to make it. You're going to do it.
That's right. Well, look at that recipe for success for the Cowboy defense. From the great Cliff Harris, man. All right. Well, Cliff, we know you're a busy man, and we thank you for taking the time to be with us on this Sunday morning and talk some Cowboy football. It's good to see you and looking good. I know you just had a birthday last month and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
We don't want to talk about the age, but we appreciate you being here and taking the time to be with us. The great Cliff Harris, y'all. Drew Pearson Live. All right. We'll be back with more Drew Pearson Live.